Hey, how's it going, friends? So Insta360 sent me the One X 360 degree camera to review, and I'm not reviewing the 360 part of it, I'm reviewing the stabilization. So here it is in all its glory, and they sent me the invisible selfie stick too, and the bullet time spinner thingy. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but they want me to pin it against the brand new GoPro Hero7 Black. So I'm going to be doing a few things to test the stabilization, both of the cameras against each other. The first test is I'm going to strap it to my chest, each one, and do a mountain bike ride, just a short run on a rough trail that's not traveled too often, and see how it does. So thanks for watching, and check this out. So before we start the mountain bike test, I just want to let you know I put both cameras at their default settings, the highest bitrate, highest quality. On the GoPro that's 4K, and I have it at 30 frames per second because you can't pick 24 on this one. And I also have the GoPro color, and as well as I have the default color for the One X. Now I did both cameras separately, so it doesn't perfectly line up when I switch cameras on the next part, but I did that because when I mounted them both to my chest, it was heavy enough that every time I took a step, it just bounced. So that's not really fair to either camera to start it off with it already bouncing before I even get on the bike. So what I'm doing here is I'll switch every 5 seconds. I switch to the next camera. 5 seconds back, GoPro One X, GoPro One X, and then I do a split screen, and that's when you'll really see that the videos aren't perfectly aligned, but you do see my hands. I intentionally pointed downward a little bit on the GoPro so you can see my hands on the handlebars and see how much I'm shaking versus how much the trees and everything are going to shake. And you can really see the quality of the digital stabilization that's built into both of these cameras. I will say that you do have to use the app. The stabilization doesn't happen in camera, but it has a gyro and a GPS that tells it where it's at all times. So the app picks up on that, and when you put it to stay in one stationary position, like for 16:9 instead of 360, it will stabilize basically perfectly. But you'll see the differences on this video, and the only real complaint I have about this camera already, because I have tried it out several times before doing this video, you have to use the app. I had to use my iPhone and edit it how I wanted it to output on an iPhone, so I wasn't very happy about that. The transfer through Wi-Fi is fairly fast on this. The desktop version of their software does not do the keyframes to switch and pan and go into the tiny planet mode, so you're stuck with, at least for now, doing it on your phone. So enough talking, let's get to the test. Now this next part I'm going to do some running on the street, and that's usually a pretty good test because when you're running, I would say I shake more when I run than when I'm riding my mountain bike, unless it's a really bumpy trail. So that to me is a really good test for gimbals and digital stabilization. So that's what I'm going to do here, and this time I'm going to hold these side by side to test them. So this will be real time side by side, not one at a time, because I can actually hold them. So check this out. So it's 30 degrees, so I'm going to have to go ninja mode on this run. It's going to be a pretty short one too. Freezing. So as you probably noticed, there's not really a fair winner when it comes to stabilization. They're both doing a really good job. I pretty much say that's a tie. I would say that's a tie. However, here's the big one. The quality. GoPro's shooting at a full 4K, and this ends up being about 1920 by 1080, 1080p. After it's cropped in because of you're getting 5.7K spherical. If you want a 16 by 9 frame, it's cropped quite significantly. So the quality, it pixelates. And also, I wasn't very happy with the auto exposure. I tried to use auto on both of them to make it fair, because I can definitely set the GoPro up to get exactly what I need. I can even underexpose, which I usually do. So that was on auto, this was on auto. And they're using their natural out-of-camera colors. They're both out-of-camera, and I wasn't very happy with the colors of the One X. Just it looked like old digital. That's the closest way I can describe it. Is it looked like old digital, or like the off-brand GoPros, like the lower quality GoPros. And in 360, especially if you're viewing it on your phone, it looks really great. But in the real world, on this 4K monitor, it does not look that good. Now take this with a grain of salt, this is just my opinion. I'm trying not to be a GoPro fanboy, but I have tried many other cameras, this form factor, and I've even reviewed them, and some of them are very close to the quality of the GoPro. I'm not sure where this camera fits, because for the average user, there's a lot of extra things you have to do. I know they're trying to make it convenient to use on your phone, but if you actually want to edit it and throw it into one of your videos where you're using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, your GoPro, and you throw a 360 shot in there, you have to edit it on your phone, and so that's compressing it more than once. And you know, just typical workflow is a little bit complicated with this one. It's compressing it in camera to MP4, but its own file extension, so you can't just edit it like normal. You can't just pop the card out and edit it. Then it goes in your phone, and you select your shots, output it again to MP4, which is a second compression. Then you put it in your nonlinear editor on your computer, mix it with other footage, output it probably to MP4 again, so that's three times you're compressing the footage. So when I reached out to Insta360 with a couple questions, like how come I can't keyframe on the desktop, I can only do it on my phone, they pointed out that it's still in beta for the One X. The older version of this, you can keyframe. They're working on it. I'm sure they're working hard on it to try and get this done. I'm sure the firmware is going to get better. I'm sure the software is going to get better. But as of now, it's a little bit harder to get from point A to point B. Hopefully these tests help you if you're on the fence between these two. They are around the same price, actually $400 and $400. There's a discount with the GoPro if you do a trade-in by $100, so that comes down to $300. They're always running special sales and specials where you get a memory card. When I got this, I got the free memory card. I got $100 off because I traded another action camera in, not the GoPro. I actually sold my GoPro. And the Insta360 One X really isn't a bad deal if you're just getting into 360 photos and video. I'm sure for real estate this really comes in handy, especially with the photos. And I'd also like to thank Insta360 for sending me the camera and accessories free of charge so I could do an honest review of the stabilization against the GoPro. Please subscribe and tell your friends. Create, share, repeat, and keep it awesome. See you next time.